Okay, no problems. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be focusing on a key use case, which is going to be linking in responses to surveys on the one hand with sensor data on the other. This is different from what we did last time, which involved linking of more survey metadata. Sort of, for example, how long it took you to answer the survey. This time, we're going to be looking at how we get access to the answers people have offered to different survey questions. This is of particular note for Iden because of the work with Cheryl's study with the foodborne illness. And down the road, it may be of interest to many people here. So in order to support this, to simplify, to make it as seamless and pleasant as possible, I decided, and actually as robust as possible, I decided that I would make use of a library, a third-party library from something called the Scala Lift framework, which is a web-based framework for creating web-based applications using Scala, okay? And so I modified my config file to refer to another library. Now, to make it easiest for you folks in the room, what I'm going to do is to drag that updated configuration to Moodle, where it will go in the configuration files area. And it's there now, and it's called Spark Defaults. However, if you wanted to modify it directly, you could do so. It's this thing here. And actually, maybe, Jin-Young, maybe you could get the lights there. And I'll see, can I get, here's enlarged font. Okay. Let me enlarge it a few more times. Okay. So it's this guy here. So all I did is I put at the end of this, actually, sorry, it's this one here. Comma, net.liftweb, that's the organization, colon, this is the library, and I think this indicates it's for Scala 2.11. And then it's colon 2.6.2. I think that's the version number. This points it to the Maven repository where Ivy can go and grab it. Okay? It can go suck it down. So when we start up the framework, it'll load it in. Start up Spark. Now, alternatively, if you want to get it from Moodle, you can do so. It's in the configuration files area. You can go and grab the updated file.
How we can test it to see if it's working? Import what?
I'll show you.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you in a minute.
I guess we'll find out as we go through.
Well, you'll be able to see pretty quickly. Okay, should I give people another minute or two? Would you like me to enlarge this further? Okay, basically I just added this. Okay?
I've had troubles with the automatic jar loading on mine. I'm not sure why. Although when I load it, it says it's downloading LiftWeb JSON.
It does.
Yeah, and it says successful. But then I don't find a jar in the jar file, in the jar folder.
Okay.
For me, it was ignoring it. Non-config.
Okay.
Non-Spark config.
So
Anyway.
I'm gonna start the Spark shell here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll point out to you where it gets loaded. The very first time you do it, it should it should go download it. But then after that, it would normally sort of refer to it here, and I think this may be it here, the Scala Lift framework. But it normally prints out a message in, here it is, there it is, right up there. This guy here.
Mm-hmm.
So it loads it in. Okay. Now, we're not going to use it absolutely immediately, but it will end up playing a key role in the functionality that's unique to this lecture. So that's one way you could tell if it's successfully loaded.
Is there a way you can tell through a autocomplete function?
Yeah. So if you did, okay, if you were to do import, okay, basically you're going to be importing net.lift, yeah, import net.liftweb, and if you do autocomplete here, it should autocomplete
Yeah, mine's not doing it.
.json .underbar, okay? Potentially, I wonder if you, Kurt, if you quit out of it and came back in. Winchell had mentioned something about Windows IV not working quite properly. So you may have to quit out of Spark Shell and come back in or something. I'm not sure how you folks work that out for Breeze. Do you remember?
I downloaded a jar.
For me,
And you stuck it in there.
I manually downloaded it. Yeah.
For you, it what?
so it's the same. I put in the config, but this one it doesn't. It ignores when it starts the Spark shell.
Okay.
It's ignoring. It's not it's non-Spark configuration, something like that.
Okay. Okay, so we may have challenges, but you could find it on the Maven repository if you want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
So do you want me to give another minute to do that? So maybe since Tina just came in, I'll tell Tina, I just put up on the course site a new config file for downloading the configuration. And basically I had placed a new thing here. However, I'm concerned everyone here may have Windows boxes, so you may all have the same problem. It's possible.
I have another problem when I exit. It gives me an error saying unable to delete temporary files. So I think there might be a permissions thing. It might not have permissions to put the jar files in.
Oh, I
And
see.
it's not complaining about it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
yeah. Wonder if you read it as super user.
I tried and it's still. I could try it.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. On Windows. Okay. So you might want to download this file, Tina. Okay. Okay. Do you want me to give another minute here? No? Okay. Okay, so maybe what we'll do is then we'll go through our standard ritual of getting connected to Cassandra, and I'll go through my ritual of blanking the screen. Okay, so first thing we do is we stop the standard context. The next thing we do is we're going to import com dot, and really I'd like to be able to copy this in. So pardon me as I just go and copy it into the into here. So here we go. Okay, you don't want to see that. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna copy this all in. So we're gonna import these things. This is our standard import sequence leading up to Cassandra. Then what we're gonna have to do is do this one here. Now this one is the one that,
takes a long time.
well, it just requires me to blank the screen because I have to enter my password. Remember this?
I put it inside of a file and just hit load that file.
It's nice. It's a nice idea. I would do that. Otherwise, if you go up, you should be able to find it from your earlier components.
That seems not a very good, I mean,
Yeah, I agree. Loading it for a file is probably the best
no, but other
solution.
terminal packages allow you to type in passwords.
Yeah.
And it doesn't show it anywhere, and it doesn't store it in your history.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go blank this for a moment, and
Pause your thing.
pause my recording. Okay. So I'm gonna restart my recording, having entered my username and password here. Okay. And here we go. I'm gonna unmute it. Great. And there we go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you don't want to see that. Okay. Okay, next we're going to do these. So we created this configuration. Now we got to do this. This is just, again, our standard stuff. Paste. And then we're going to load in the SQL context. Create a new create a new SQL context, having imported the things, and import all the related implicits. There we go. Okay, so that was our standard ritual for just getting ready for Cassandra. Okay, we sort of set it up to use Cassandra. Does anyone want more time here for that?
I want one.
A little bit? Yeah, sure. I like Kurt's idea of setting up a file that can just be loaded. So the idea is you do this, right, Kurt? Load,
Yeah. And then just the file, you call it from the same folder where you're.
set up Cassandra.scala.
Yeah, I guess I'd put all mine as Spark, but
It
yeah.
can be anyway. I'm loading it from.
It can be any
folder.
file, yeah.
So you can just point it to.
Good. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you want a bit more time?
No, that's
Okay, so let's get going here then. We're going to import scala.math.square root up front. Okay. Now, the first little bit here is just a review in the sense that we're going to be accessing survey data and sensor data. What's going to be different is how we end up handling the survey data. Okay, so val df survey responses equals SQL context. Basically, here we're going to open up all survey responses associated with a certain study. Okay. I'm confused. Spark dot SQL dot, this is SQL ISIC context. That should be spark.sql Cassandra. Okay? org.apache.spark.sql.cassandra dot options. Remember, this is where we specify the options. We're going to specify a map. Key space is going to be Ethica study 73. Table is going to be survey responses. Again, this arrow is indicating for the map, this is the key, this is the value. So it's going to be looking for key space information, presumably. Cassandra will be, say, oh, so we look for table information, and it gets the survey responses. Okay. I should make sure, yes, we are recording again. Good. Okay, next we're going to end that. So we're going to end both of these. And then we're going to be loading. Yeah. Okay.
Any filter?
No. The filter will come later. Not now. Okay. Okay. So load. Boom. Okay, now, okay. Next, we are going to do we're going to create a user-defined function, and this user-defined, actually, sorry.
Should we cache this?
That would be a good thing to do, yeah. df survey responses dot cache. Okay.
Should we do like a df survey.count to actually make it do it, or?
Nah, that's okay. I mean, you could, but it wouldn't be a bad thing if some of you did, so that we don't all hit the database at once. So if you want to do df survey responses dot count, then it will actually load the data in. Okay. Next, I'm going to do DFPA sampling survey responses. I'm going to do df survey responses dot, and we're going to filter by the user ID equals 231, and filter by the survey ID equals 242. Okay? Probably would have been better not to cache the full set of survey responses, because it's really this one that we're going to be using. So I wonder if I can uncache this. No, I can't uncache it. I can unpersist it, I think, but I can't uncache it. Okay. Okay. Here we're going to cache this guy, PA sampling survey responses. And just as a reminder, we can go and look at some basic statistics here about this. For example, count the number of records. And this is where it will actually go off and do the processing. Okay? It's actually going to go off and get the information on all the data.
There's a nice number. That's the answer to that.
Oh man, sweet. Okay, yeah, 2 to the 8th. Okay, Christine's phone number is by the way 5 to the 2 power. The next thing is 2 to the 5th power.
Huh.
That's how I remember it. So val time slot from timestamp UDF. So this is, we're defining a user-defined function. This one's basically going to classify times into time slots of 10 minutes in length. So this is going to be a user-defined function. Remember, user-defined functions allow us to abstract certain functionality, and they allow us to apply that functionality at the level of a whole column, even though we only define it at the level of a particular value. So here, getting a java.sql.timestamp, we're going to turn this into a time slot by basically figuring out the 10-minute interval to which it corresponds. So I did ts.getTime divided by, and there's going to be an expression here, 10 minutes times 60 seconds per minute times 1,000 seconds, or 1,000 milliseconds per second. Okay? So here we go. This is a UDF, a user-defined function. This is our function. It operates in timestamps, and by defining it as a UDF, a user-defined function, we're going to be able to apply it to whole columns at once. So we've lifted it to columns. Okay? Next, we're going to make use of that function. df time slotted survey responses equals these ones we had earlier. You might want to copy it from earlier. This guy.
Autocomplete.
Yeah, you could do autocomplete. That's another option. df survey responses dot with column time slot, and now we're going to use the UDF. Okay? Time slot from timestamp UDF. Hey, come on. And we'll do record time. Okay? So notice, and then one more. Notice that we are applying this function to a whole column at once. Okay? There we go. Great. Next, val df. Okay, now I'm saying narrowed, but I think I'm gonna not do this. There's not a lot of good reason. Okay. Okay, next. So we're done with our survey response information. Okay, let's just remind ourselves what's in there. How can we go see the type of information that this maintains? What could we do? Yeah, let's do the print schema. Let's go see what's there. Here we have. And our focus today is going to be in this resps area, this responses, okay? Before we focused a lot on duration. Now we're going to focus on the responses, okay? Good. So let's go see how many time-slotted survey responses. Well, we know roughly what they are. How could we count the number in different intervals of time? What would we do?
Group.
Yeah, we can group by the time slot. So we'll do group by time slot, and then we could simply do count. Oops. And then show. Here we go. So here are various time slots, and there's the count in each one. This is only the top 20 rows. Okay? Okay. Notice, by the way, I did this instead of, what could I have done instead? Ag, count, this sort of thing. Remember that? But
Is it shorthand?
I think it's shorthand for the same thing. There may be not appreciated, but I think it's shorthand for the same basic deal. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to get the accelerometer data. So val df. Remember how we got the survey data? Not 10 minutes thence. Remember this? Remember this? How would we get the Excel data? What would be different?
Just table.
Yeah, the table would be the only thing that really differs. So
I feel like unless you put filters on this, it's going to be difficult to download all that. Is there a lot of Excel data?
it's a good question. But remember, it's not going to download until we need it. We're going to take advantage of that.
Okay.
Because we're going to cross-link it with the survey data, and then it only needs those that line up with the surveys, right? That's the beauty of it, ladies and gentlemen. While it's reading it, it can actually toss away ones that are not relevant and just pick out the ones that are relevant. So it actually doesn't even have to temporarily persist them. Okay, so if you want to go back to that earlier one, I'm just doing up arrow. You could actually do it right here, but there's going to be some differences. First of all, this is going to be, instead of df survey responses, it's going to be df excel var. Okay, variability for Excel, and then the table is going to be Excel underbar variability. Here, Excel underbar variability.
That's calculated already?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is module?
It's actually calculating over time windows certain statistics, and I think it may be coarser grained. I could send information to the class about it. Okay, TF-Excel4. Now remember, it hasn't figured out, it knows how to load it. It hasn't actually done the loading yet. This is important. It doesn't have to do the loading until it knows what it needs, and then it can throw the rest away, among other things. Or it can aggregate it live as it's coming in, or what have you. In fact, both of those, I believe, will be the case. So next, we're going to do val df time slotted Excel var. And that's just going to be the df Excel var with what? What do you think we're going to do?
Group by? No.
With column
Right.
time slot. And that time slot is going to be based on time slot from timestamp UDF. Who created that?
User.
You did. Okay. Okay, and sorry, the quote is inside of this. Date, time, bin. Okay?
Really close.
So now we've added that to it, but really we've added the promise to that, to do this, to the promise that we're going to be getting that data, right? Next, we are going to group this data. This will mean as the data comes in, it will be aggregated as it's read in. Again, we don't have to create these intermediate big data structures. Excel var kv equals, and this is the time slotted Excel var kv, the thing, time slotted, Excel var, that's weird. Wait a minute. Mumble. Time
Slotted.
time slotted. And really this should be called time slotted Excel var. Is just equal to the time slotted Excel var dot come back to that. Come back to that. I don't know why this thing is still in there. I should get rid of this line. I don't need to keep this running. We're going to take advantage of the Tehuian innovation. Okay. So basically, we're going to define a UDF that is going to take the norm of three columns based on taking the norm of particular values in that column. Okay? So here we go. Boom. Okay. So val norm UDF equals, how do we create a UDF? UDF, and it's going to take, and remember this, float, remember that? Y float, Z float, and we're going to return square root of x times x plus y times y plus z times z. There we are. You actually don't have to use those parens around those if you don't want to. Dot 2 double. Okay. Yeah. You could do it like this if you're so inclined. This is probably less of an eyesore, something like that, you know. dot two double, and then we are going to, ladies and gentlemen, and this, okay, so
You only need one.
what do we only need one? No, oh sorry, no, we need two there.
Yeah,
We need this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there we are, norm UDF. Okay, so we've defined something that abstracts away the notion of taking a norm, but more to the point, it also can be applied to, it's lifted to apply to columns by virtue of being a UDF. We can apply it to columns. So here we go. Okay, val df time slotted excel var kv equals df time slotted excel var dot group by, what do you think we're going to, by what will we group by? The time slot, indeed. So why don't you put that in? So group by the time slot, you know how to do that. Okay, and then I'll follow you. Actually, and we're also going to group by not just the time slot, but also by the user ID. Okay. Although I think, no, we haven't restricted it yet. Okay, and now we're going to, you know what, we really should have filtered it, shouldn't we? We really should filter it. Well, we can let the mechanisms do this. So, okay, then we're going to group by that, and for the rest of the columns, we're going to average over the norm as applied to what?
Norm UDF.
Yeah, the norm UDF as applied to what? Anyone? To average X, average Y, and average Z. Sorry, what am I doing? Average. Is that,
The name
yes, that is it.
the
That
name of the
actually
column,
is
right?
it. It's a column name, yeah. That's actually the case. Okay, great. And now I'll do a demonstration of this, okay? So let's suppose we did that. Okay? And now suppose we were to go do a print schema. What would we see? Well, there's this column here. I don't like that.
You can do it as, or alias is another one. You can do.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do with column renamed, and I just copied this, so I'm going to put,
So once you do within your egg,
yeah,
just before the close brackets of egg, you
Yeah.
can go as
oh,
without a dot.
really?
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's just do that. So before the close bracket for this, you do as activity.
You have to put that in brackets, round brackets, activity.
Okay,
And so I think it's actually, the way I did it here is no spaces. I don't know if that makes a difference.
like this.
Delete the space. And
Oh.
then delete the space in front of as also. That's how I did. I don't know if you need that or not.
I think it's probably doing that, but okay,
I think
like
you
this.
could, try it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice or not? Yeah, it's nice. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is good. Let's now take the key step. That is going to, it's going to be the final step and kind of the prep. here we go. Val joined survey Excel var equals df time slotted survey responses dot join. So this, we're going to get out this should really be called df joined survey, df joined survey Excel var. It's a data frame. We're going to join this one we computed earlier with what?
Or maybe data set.
With sorry?
Data set.
With a data set. And what to what data set? If this is the survey response, what do you think, to what do you think we'll join it?
Excel.
Excel, time slotted Excel var. Okay. KV. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Using columns equals list, user ID, and time slot. Okay, there we go. So basically we're saying we're going to join these two together. Okay, boom. There we are. Has it loaded the Excel var?
No.
No, it still hasn't. It allowed us to print the schema.
Yeah.
It's allowed us to join it. It still hasn't loaded it.
I guess the downside is we don't know if there's an error, right? Through this whole process, we've developed this big pipeline.
That's true. Yeah.
If there's an error, we don't know.
That's true. It's a little bit disconcerting there. Yeah. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, maybe what we'll do is I'm going to do it right now, and I'd ask each of you to you can wait to do it here, but here mine is computing.
It's pretty fast.
248. Okay. So there was probably a few surveys answered at times where the accelerometer data wasn't available.
Should we cache this? Or
Sure. Yeah, why don't you cache it? Good call. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. That's a non-trivial thing. How we did that. Okay, now we're going to get into the extraction of particular questions. Okay, so the above was just getting ready for this this stuff with getting the data ready. Next, we're going to do val. Kurt may
recoil.
exhibit distress. Extract question number JSON. Question number, this should be from JSON. Okay? UDF generator for question number. Okay? Meaning this thing's going to take a question number as an argument and it's going to generate a UDF. Okay? To extract that question number from JSON. Okay? This is curried, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So, being a curried function, what do you think the first thing we do is? We take a question. So I'm going to say I desired question, meaning the index of a desired question. This is an integer. Having passed that in, having received that, we are then going to, what do you think we'll produce?
No.
We're going to produce a UDF. So this generates a UDF when we give it a question number. So here's the question number. And having received that question number, okay, I'm going to generate a UDF. And what is that UDF going to do? Well, it's going to know how to extract the information on that question. So what does a UDF take as an argument? What does the F stand for? Function. So what does it take as an argument? A function. So we're gonna, it takes a function, and here's the function. This is gonna be a map that basically the JSON is gonna be producing a map from integers to strings. The integer is the question number. The string is the JSON for. You know what? I gave this a bad name. This should actually be called extract question number JSON. It's actually the JSON associated with the question number. So this M is a map from integers to strings. And having received that map, we are going to extract the question number of interest. This is going to be get or else, and it's going to be I desired question. We're going to get that element of it, and if we don't have it, it's going to be blank. Okay, there we are. Wow. Okay, so what is this thing? This whole thing is a function. This function takes in a question number and it returns a UDF, which is itself a what? Function. A lifted function. And that UDF it returns operates on these maps and it extracts the JSON for a particular question from that map. That's what the string is. Okay? So this is a curried function. It takes the first element, then it returns a function which takes another element of it and is a function. Okay, there we are. That's our function. Okay, great. Okay, now, okay, next. What I'm going to do is do the following. Okay. What the heck? Okay. Beauty. Okay. But it's a bit wordy, beauty. That's okay. Okay. I'm not sure you're assured if I say that's okay. Joined survey Excel var actually responded to with question info. Oh gosh, that's ugly. Okay.
How much space left on that line, do you?
Okay, so here we go. Okay, so basically what this is going to be doing is it's going to take this, it's going to restrict it to those actually responded to and place extra question info associated with them. Okay? Okay. Joined. This is going to operate on this df. Probably we should put df here to indicate it's a data frame. Okay, I know. You think I'm running out of space, and I am. Well, whatever. Okay. df joined survey Excel var. Joined survey Excel var. Great. Okay. Dot filter.
.kv?
Sorry?
Or kv or not?
No, there's no.
Oh, okay.
There's no KV. The KV is in the past.
Join.
You have time slotted Excel bar.
Yeah. This is the joined survey Excel bar. This is the result of our joining. Remember that?
Yep.
not 5 minutes thence. Okay. Okay. We're going to filter. How do we tell if this has been responded to?
It's not blank.
Well, it's duration
It's not
greater than or equal to 0. It's not been canceled. It's not been
expired.
expired. With column Q1 info. And what are we going to have for this column? We're going to have extract question number from Jason. Now, what does this thing take? Who defined this? Who defined that?
Yours truly.
Indeed, it's this one here. Okay, so what does it take as the first argument? What is
The
Question
desired
index?
question number.
the question number? So we're going to tell it, please extract question number 1. And what does it take as its second argument?
No.
It takes a function.
You-
Oh, sorry, it takes a
Yeah. Query function.
column. Okay?
Right.
Okay. Resps. Okay. And next, I'm going to say, so that's going to extract the what? What will that extract?
The question number from the rest.
Well, yeah, it extracts the question number, but what of, from that question number, it's
The
extracted the JSON. Yeah, the JSON for it. Okay, now I just do a very similar thing. In fact, you might want to copy this. Boom. Copy and paste. Okay? We're going to do the same thing for question 3. What has to change? Let's change to question 3. What else has to change?
Number 3.
Question 3, not question 1.
Well,
Versus
first
Jimmy?
question 1, yeah, question 3. Question 2 is other. Okay? There we go. Oh,
With the question number?
oh, sorry?
What about the question number?
That's this one here.
The above,
Sorry?
before rests, before column rest.
This thing here? That's the question number?
Yes,
S-
this one.
This is 1, and this is for 3. I just forgot the extra. Oh, did I forget 2? Oh, I'm all confused. Did I forget?
2, yeah.
Hmm.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. Something's wrong. Maybe the Anahita is onto something here.
I'm getting a with column.
Okay, so this balances, that balances. So clearly I
With
need.
column
Oh! I see what
With column is missing one?
this guy earlier. This guy was missing one. There was
First with column, right?
the first with column was missing one. Do you see that?
Yeah.
I think maybe that's what the Anahita. The prescience of the Anahita. Okay. Okay. What do you think this looks like?
Mess. I mean,
That may be, but it's a beautiful mess. A little bit like a certain office. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Okay,
whoa.
what are these things?
Jason's.
Those are JSONs, ladies and gentlemen. Those, ladies and gentlemen, are JSONs. Okay. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's do a print schema. What do we see if we do a print schema?
Whatever we have.
Question 1 info, question 3 info. Okay, so now we're going to extract the information from these questions. All we have right now are this is the info on the question and answers. It includes the question answers, but we can't yet penetrate it. Why not? Because it's in what format?
Sorry, does it look like this? Is it a bigger screen?
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Okay.
That looks roughly right. Okay, so now we're going to go through and figure out how to extract it. So to do this, we're going to do two things. One is we're going to import, and this may be where everyone else has trouble if you had trouble loading it. I'm going to import net.liftweb.json. Next, I'm going to do implicit val formats equals default formats. Turns out that there's some places where it uses what's called an implicit parameter to get some information. And this defines an implicit parameter that can be used by it unless a thing is provided explicitly. And now, to take this in a direction you probably weren't expecting, I'm going to define a case class. Now these case classes should be quite useful for you going down the road.
Default formats is a lift web object.
Yeah. So lift web object. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, ready? Case class, Ethica survey question, single response. Resp underbar time. This is going to be a string. Answer underbar content. This is going to be content is a string. Answer underbar ID is a long. Okay. What am I doing here? Why am I defining case classes? Anyone want to guess? I want to take the info from the JSON object and turn it into instances of these case classes. This is going to encode a single response, a user. By single response, I mean something like, I may say, it's asking me, why am I exercising right now? And I may say, for health. That's one response. But maybe I'm also saying I'm exercising for companionship. I'm walking with Jeff McDonald. So I might also check that. Each of those is going to be a single response, okay? It's kind of the most fine-grained level of response. Next, I'm going to define a case class, Ethica survey response, which is going to be Q content. So this is going to be kind of the whole collection of them. There's going to be question, content for the response. What was the question to which I was responding? And then there's going to be a response. And guess what this response is going to be? It's going to be an array of these single responses. This is how the JSON is organized. Okay? And there's going to be a question type, which is a string, and a version, which is a string. That's just what's in the JSON. Question content. For each of the single responses, it's an element in the array, and then there's a string and a version of the string, okay? So I did that. Now, you may wonder, why am I doing that? Well, maybe I'll just remind you, if I did, watch this. If I do collect here, maybe we could see one of these in more detail. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, here's a row. Here's question 1. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is resps. Maybe what I'll do to clarify this is I'll do select Q1 info. Is that okay? Maybe I'll do Q3 info because that's a little bit more textured. I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to collect. Boom. There we are. Okay, indicate the motivations or goals of this activity. By the way, the first one didn't answer it at all. Here's one that answered it. Indicate the goals, and here's a particular response for health. Here's and that was the only one indicated. How about this one here? Indicate the motivations or goals of this activity. Response time for health. Okay, and that was all. that I answered. Okay. So sometimes there will be more than one, in which case I think it would go right here. This is the array. This is the array of specific answers. Okay?
For that question.
For that question, yeah. And there will be some where I answer multiple things. It's not just one thing. Like for health, I'll say also it's for, it's for companionship, or it's for to adjust to jet lag or whatever. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So we're much of the way through this now. Now we're going to define a UDF, val parse single answer JSON response content. Okay, this is going to parse the JSON response content for single answers, and basically it's going to return answer content. It's actually going to return the response content for this JSON. So in other words, it's going to parse this and return the response content. Like I'm going to say running, and it's going to be a quote running rather than the ID. So this is going to be UDF, and it takes in now you folks will make fun of this probably, but that's okay. Ethica question response. Okay, it's going to be a string. Okay, it's going to take in a string. The UDF, remember, it's user-defined function. It's going to redefine it to operate in the individual elements. It will apply it then to columns. This one takes in a string, which is the response, the JSON response. Okay, and what am I going to do? So probably it's a JSON response content. Okay, great, it's JSON. Okay, it's parsing it for single answer questions particularly. Now, this is going to do something unusual. Implicit val formats equals formats, default formats. Yeah, I've had to figure out how to do this over the weekend because
Did you already use
yeah, but it can't depend on it. It needs it packed up inside of this. The problem is, if the UDF depends on something outside of itself, it can get unhappy, which is unfortunate because it doesn't know how to synchronize this with it. And believe me, it took me a while to figure that out. Okay, so we're going to parse something. Oh my gosh, we're going to parse this thing. We're going to parse this thing with this name. Str Ethica.
You can probably
Oh, it's the thing of beauty. Okay. Extract. And what are we going to extract? Anyone want to guess? Yeah, we're going to extract the case class, Ethica survey response. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the survey response. We're going to get that whole response, which could include multiple. In general, it can include multiple particular answers, but in this case, it's for a single answer. We know that. So we're going to take the response from that. That was, who defined this RESP thing? That was defined up here when we defined the case class. Where is it? Hey. Where's the case class? Where's the case class? There it is. RESP, right there. That's the array. And we're going to get the first element in the array. And then that's going to be, and then we're going to get the answer content from it. Boom. And that's it. That's the end of our function. Boom. So it's going to know how to take JSON. It's going to parse it. It's going to turn it into an Ethica survey response, which is pretty nifty, that it can take JSON and turn it into this instance of a case class. And we're going to extract from that case class the first element of this array. Here, of this array. The first element, which is going to be a what? The first element of the array is going to be a
answer, the response, single response.
yeah, single response. and then we're going to take the answer content for that, which is a string. Good or not? Well, okay. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to define one just about totally the same, except that instead of extracting the response content, in other words, the text, it's going to extract the answer ID. How do I do that? Anyone?
Instead of pulling out the content?
Yeah, I'm going to do answer what?
ID.
Answer ID. That's it. Boom. Done. Done. Okay, now I could do more, and in fact I flourished over the weekend defining user-defined functions of various interesting sorts. But we're going to cut to the chase. We're going to make use of these things. Okay? Okay. Great. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. You may remember, before I defined these things, up here, way back when, I had this thing here, df joined survey, Excel var actually responded to with question info. Okay? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to copy that. Boom. Okay, boom. Okay, next we're going to do this. So what does this have in it? Maybe we'll just refresh ourselves. Remember this says Q1 info? What is that? Who remembers what that is?
That's the response and the time
Yes,
for question 1.
it's the in what format?
It's
It's
Jason.
JSON. It's JSON, ladies and gentlemen. That's JSON. Without even the Argonauts. Okay, so here we go. We can go see it, and it's this stuff. So we want to append to this the actual question answers. Okay? This is leading up to the crescendo. But somehow the audience is unmoved. Okay, so here we go. Dot with column Q1 answer text. Answer text. What do you think I'm going to put here? What do you think I'm going to put here? But the ship has sailed. Okay.
There.
Yeah, this guy here. I should have said UDF with that, so I knew it was a UDF. But this is good enough. That's the one I want, right? And to what can this be applied? Because it's a UDF, can it only be applied to these strings? No, it can be applied. Okay, so this is a string it takes, right? This thing I told it, but because it's a UDF, to what can I apply it? To a whole column. Okay? And to what column do you think I'll apply this? Column
Question 1 info.
Q1 info. Okay? Great. Now let's suppose I wanted to extract. So this added a column that's going to include what? The answer text for question 1. Next, I want to do the same thing but extract the answer ID. So what do I do now?
Copy and paste, but it's parse single answer content or ID.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to do this. Boom. Parse single answer. And what is this going to be instead?
ID.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be
ID.
that ID. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, show. Okay, now there's a lot going on there. Let's
Could you do a select?
select them so I can just focus in on those.
Question one info or?
Yeah. Question one, answer text, and question one, answer
You didn't change the title.
ID. Oh my gosh. Did I not change the title?
No,
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, what did I need to do here?
change the title.
Ah, do you see now the thing with all its beauty?
Messy duty.
Sitting and sit. What's this one?
Question ID.
What's this one?
I'm currently
Sedentary. Jogging, running. 3. Okay, select dot, what should we select? Q1 answer text and Q1 what?
Answer ID.
Answer ID. There we are. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen,
So if you had a matrix already of what the possible answers were, and then
Yeah.
that just comes from the definition.
yeah, you
don't
could
need
look
the
up.
first column.
Yeah, exactly. Although it might be kind of handy. So I think this is a thing of considerable beauty. So I'm going to get rid of the show. I'm not doing the extra select. I just want to leave this. But then I want to do val, df, joined, survey, Excel, var. I'll just say Q1 answers. Believe me, I abbreviated it greatly.
Actually responded to with question info, question one.
With question one answers. Yeah, okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Here we go. So, if I print the schema, what would we see? There we see these. Okay? Now, what could I do with this? Yeah, I
You
know.
filter by the number of people
Yeah,
that
yeah.
answered whatever.
So let's do this exactly. So I could go and let's first. How if I wanted to see a count that answered different ways? How would I do that? Group by what?
Question one ID.
Question one ID would be fine. Q1 answer ID. Do you see that? And then what could I do? Count. Yeah, I could and then show. Okay. Or if I wanted to make it a little bit more self-explanatory, I could do what? Is it text? Yeah, it's text. Right. Text. Okay. Okay. Now, the crowning glory.
How come that's different than the one above? 2,
Mumble.
still and jogging have
That's very interesting.
9. I guess number 1 is none and standing still.
Huh.
Walking is
Yeah,
Two
yeah,
sitting
yeah.
is-
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, yeah, indeed. So maybe both of those share the same
yeah.
ID.
Hash to the same.
Okay, they hash to the same bucket. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now in the crowning glory, how could we look at the different activity levels associated with each of these? So we cross-joined the sensor data with the survey responses. So we have accelerometry data for these. How could we show let's say the average accelerometer data for the times when one's sitting walking?
Do another group by?
Okay, we could. Do we need to do a group by?
I guess not.
So we've already grouped it by this. Suppose we want
Oh,
to
that's right.
see for each the average of the accelerometer values.
Just for the-
Sorry?
Yeah, an aggregate
Aggregate of the
average
average
Yeah.
of the
activity.
activity. Now, I always forget. Do I have to? Okay. Now show. Okay. There you go.
Huh. That's unexpected.
Indeed. Indeed.
Sitting as the highest activity.
Yeah.
Mumble.
Yeah. So curious. I wonder if it had something to do with how Excel variability is defined.
Oh, that's
Compared-
Excel variability. So that's not a member. That's a measure of the variability, not.
Well, it is aggregate over some period of time, so I think this needs to be investigated. But the point is, this provides you with a tool for doing that and for breaking it down by the question content, the question response, rather, the survey response. So I actually defined, but I will spare you infliction of a variety of other UDFs here, okay? So in my preparation for today, here's the single answer. Here's so that was the content, and here's the ID. But I also did another one which extracted all the answer texts in a comma separated way for multi-answers. And I further did one which basically will test. This one's kind of a little bit interesting, at least by my lights. So this one will actually, this is a curried function. It takes in what? A string that, what does that string encode? Well, its name gives a certain hint. Okay, so this is again a UDF generator. It takes in a string that you want to search for in the answer. So this would be for a multi-answer question, where it might say multiple things. You give it a string for which to search. It returns a UDF whose job in life is to indicate for a given question 3 response, which allows for multiple answers, whether or not that string is among the answers. I can then apply that. To question 3, for example. I'll do that here without asking you to follow me in the fulsomeness of my naming. Here. So now I have these question 1 answers, but okay. Okay, what was the name of that? Joined survey Excel var with question 1 answers, I think. And then I basically ask, okay, so did it include answer 10, or did it include running, for example? Okay, I actually didn't do this earlier UDF, so I'll get rid of this. So here, basically I'm adding a column, is running present, where basically I test, does question 3's answers include the string running? Okay, and extract answer text, UDF, extract answer texts. Oh, I didn't define my extract answer text. That was something I also defined here. This gets the comma separated list from a multi-answer question. So we can find our attention. Join survey. What did we call it? Join survey Excel. Hey. Join. DF. I call it DF. That's why. Okay, there we go. DF. Okay. DF joined, and this should be DF joined. Boom. Oh my gosh. DF joined survey. Oh, what did I call it? Remember I shortened it and I noted that with question 3 answers. Oh, with survey var Q1 answers. I didn't say with. Okay. I just should say Q1 answers. Let's try that. Boom. Okay, and now this will have a print schema, and this print schema has this is running present, which is a Boolean column. Yes or no? Was running included in their answers to question 3? Question 3's answers are also present. And if I do select Q3 answers and I do collect, now I'll see the various answers to question 3. For example, here's one that has multiple answers in it, right? Yeah. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, today we again went through and cross-linked survey data to sensor data. But more than that, we figured out how using a JSON parser, we could go and we could actually parse the JSON, extract objects from it using this extract here. We parsed it, we extracted instances of case classes in which we could look for certain types of answers. And we then subsequently added the results of that parsing with various information extracted, information tested for as columns to our data frames, so that then we could do something like joining with sensor data, so that we could see summaries across question responses and across sensor data. Okay? That, ladies and gentlemen, is an indication of how you can combine survey responses on the one hand with sensor data on the others in this investigation analysis. It's admittedly a decent amount of work to set up, but once you define this user-defined functions and so on, you could just copy them in. It's not that big a deal to extract. Once you use this lift web to parse and extract, you could reuse the case classes, reuse the user-defined functions. What I've given you, what I've tried to give you, aspired to give you, is a set of reusable mechanisms which you can use to parse, manipulate, analyze survey responses in Ethica in conjunction with sensor data. And that is my bequest to you for your projects. Okay?
It's easily generalizable, though, to not have answer survey stuff, like different sensor data would be easier, because you wouldn't have to parse so much JSON.
Say this again. Yeah.
The way you're doing it, you could easily do UDFs for different analysis things on non-survey questions.
That's correct. Yeah, exactly. UDFs are very useful. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe will be the final lecture burden on you for this fine week. Okay?